We're here with Andrew McCarron, who is Managing Director of our host here this week, SBC, and as I understand it, a stalwart Manchester United fan.
Yeah, I'm one of the few people to have seen Manchester United before Sir Alex Ferguson started taking them up and making them extremely successful. So yeah, I've seen the good times and the bad times, and we're in a bit of bad times at the moment. But I think these things are circular.
That's the great thing about being a sports fan.
Yeah, exactly. You got to feel those before you can really taste the highs.
Well, as a Philadelphia sports fan myself, I can tell you we know how to feel those lows. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you. This has been a great show. I've had numerous people tell me what an outstanding show it is. We've certainly recognized the quality, not only of the panels, but also simply the logistics. I mean, you guys, when you have lunch continues on. It's not, get there in that 45 minutes and you're done kind of thing.
Sure.
And it certainly seems to have served the purpose of bringing together a lot of folks, especially from the UK and Sweden and so on, who have knowledge and experience and are trying to discover this new frontier with Americans who are looking for expertise. So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
congratulate you on that.
Well, thanks very much. I mean, it's a very interesting market. It's obviously we've been running big conferences now since 2014 in Europe. But the opportunity never really came about to do something similar over in the US, because for obvious reasons. Yeah, one sort of major market, and that was well covered by G2E, albeit more of a gaming show. And we were asked a few times to come over and do what we do in Europe, in the US, but it was never really feasible. But obviously, with the repeal of PASPA, that's opened so many doors for so many people. But there's so many things to talk about from that, and that's where we come in really. We're here to promote discussions around the best ways of doing things. It's talking about best practice. It's so easy to get sports betting wrong that the more information you have, the less likely it is you'll do something wrong. It's all about sharing information, networking, meeting the right people, and that's the sort of thing we try and we want to be a catalyst for that kind of thing.
So tell us who SBC is, how you got started, and who you are, and
sure.
Where you intend to be.
Yeah, I mean, SBC started as the founder is a Danish guy called Rasmus Soymark, and he started doing networking parties in London and in Europe, just to bring the sports betting community together, have a chance to meet and network with people. And he was running that for around 5 years. Started the London Baby networking party around Ice London. So the first night of Ice, we do a big sports betting party for over 1,000 people. And it was just a way of like-minded people meeting each other, making connections. And then I came on board in 2014. Well, my background was I was editing a UK betting publication called Betting Business. And I came on board at SBC in 2014, and the idea was to do trade news on the web, utilising the network that was already there. Because our LinkedIn membership, we already had 5,000 members, which is great for a standing start for a company almost. So it was used in the context we already had, and trying to make our news provision, cut above the rest. But in the back of my mind, what I also wanted to do was to do a conference. There's lots of gaming conferences all around the world. I've all been to them, but because my niche was sports betting, I tended to go to these events and there'd be maybe 2 sports betting sessions across the whole agenda, and usually they clash with each other as well, which was even more frustrating. So we started off, we're doing just a one-day conference in Stamford Bridge. It's the home of Chelsea in West London, soccer team. We did a one-day conference there, and basically the programme was everything that I wanted to see from a sports betting journalist perspective. and we had 110 people there, and over the years it's grown. That event was called Betting on Football. We've just done our 6th one a month ago, and we also do Betting on Sports, which is the biggest sports betting trade event in the world. We do that in September in London, and last year we had 2,500 people there. So in 4 years went from 110 to 2,500. So it's it's been quite a journey.
What is the future?
Future, well, a lot of people say the future is the US, and this week has shown that people like the way we do things. We pay a lot of attention to the agenda. Obviously, my background as a journalist, we've got 5 news sites now back in the US. We've got CasinoBeats.com, we've got SBCAmericas.com, which is looking at sports betting. We've got Insider Sport, we've got an affiliate site, affiliateinsider.com. So we've got a lot of journalists working on those, and they help inform the agenda to make it something a bit more current. Because we're sort of speaking with the industry every day, it makes it easier to put together a coherent and relevant agenda. And I think that's what sets us apart from maybe other professional conference organisers, is that we don't look at it from a conference program perspective. We look at it from almost from a news perspective, and seeing what's current and what people want to talk about.
And maybe a final question, since you have a particular perspective, how do you envision the future of sports betting in the U.S. developing?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, because obviously it's a bit similar to in Europe, how we've got every single country in Europe has completely different sports betting laws, completely different gambling laws. So trying to get some coherence at the European level, where some standardisation, is impossible to do, and because everybody has got such different perspectives on sports betting. Not sports betting, but gambling. You know, so some people have a government monopoly. It's impossible to get everybody to agree on that. So I'm wondering if a federal law will actually be something anyone can agree with, and they'll just be carry on down the state by state, each one taking their own take on it, which obviously isn't great for the big operators who want to do a cross country strategy, but at least it's becoming part of the conversation now, whereas before now it couldn't even start in the conversation. And hopefully that some states will start to see which other states are doing well. I mean, something that the US doesn't seem to be talking about too much at the moment is sort of the prevention of harm and keeping crime out. Those are 2 big yardsticks that we use in Europe. And whoever gets the alchemy right, other states will hopefully take inspiration from it, and then a bit more standardisation will come in across the states that do want it, because gambling is such a contentious issue. It's very unusual for politicians to come out and be very pro it. Yeah. Obviously, because sports betting has been prohibited, there's been prohibition on it, more or less. It's a bit easier because people still want to do some sports betting. The problem you get when it tips the other way, when there's too much sports betting in your face, and that's when the blowback happens, and that's what's happening in Europe at the moment. There's been too much in your face, and it's all started retracting a bit more. So if you can get it right, or near to right first time, then you stop the peaks and troughs that you get for the regulations of the business.
Any other issues, Andrew, we should touch upon?
Any other issues? I don't know. It's I mean, we're doing our Sports Betting Hall of Fame tonight. That is something we started off in 2016 in Europe. Again, to celebrate the good that sports betting is doing, because too often sports betting gets blamed for a lot of things. So we're doing that tonight. We're going to. I think we're going to introduce it again. We're doing an official party for G2E this year. So we're doing a sports betting party there, which will be called Vegas Baby. So it ties into our London Baby party at ICE. So we're looking to do something pretty spectacular there.
Okay, great. Andrew, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.